Yo, welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and today's episode we're joined by a very special guest, current professional hockey goaltender Colby Muise. Colby spent this past season in the Southern Professional Hockey League with the Peoria Rivermen, with also a call up to the ECHL, the East Coast Hockey League with the Adirondack Thunder. And even before this year, he just finished his second year pro, where he won goaltender of the year in the SB this year as well. But last year he spent time in France too with Chambry before where that's where he first started his professional career. But before that, he spent 4 years at Marian University in NCAA Division III, along with a couple spots here and there in junior hockey. But I'm really excited to get you on, Colby. So welcome to the show, Colby Muise.
Awesome. Thanks, Jack. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. And long time coming, but we're finally here. So
Yeah, there you go. It's good to get you on, and especially because you had a hell of a year in the SB where you won goalie of the year, first team SB All Stars, like everything like that. So like to start things off, like how did this season go for you personally and as a team wise, and just like learning the North American game again?
it was good. I mean, really good. Obviously, all the accolades were great. It's cool to get that, recognition. Obviously, I can't take, all the credit. We had an
Yeah,
awesome team. It definitely makes a difference when you have a good structure in front of you. Peoria, Guy, Levy, they know how to win, and it doesn't matter. I think we went through 60 like transactions this year due to injuries, and I think at one point we had half a Fed team. We had like all these, like I think we had 10 Fed call ups. Like we we just kept winning, and it's because guys just want to buy into the structure, and if they don't, I mean, they find their way out and somewhere else in the league or back in the Fed. So it's yeah, no, it was good. It was fun to be in Peoria. I think it definitely helped me adjust back to North American hockey because it's definitely a difference. And I, the first couple were a struggle, but once I started to get on a roll, and thankfully having Levy there every day to kind of get me back to my game, it made it a lot easier and more consistent. So I was happy.
yeah. So like, what was it like having Levy there, especially because everyone knows who Levy is, like
Yeah.
SP, like one of the leaders, like his in the history books of the SB. So like, what was it like having a guy like that, and like he obviously gets what goalies go through because he's a goalie too.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. I mean, I think the best 2 years of hockey I've had goalie coaches by my side. I had Rob Gearson in junior, now Levy, and Levy's just he's very detail oriented, and I need that. I think to stay consistent. I think a lot of goalies do, and he's there every day to remind you little things. And then we do film after every game. It's so easy when like he's not that much older than me, so it's easy to like have a good relationship with him. We were buddies. Like it wasn't
Yeah,
like you didn't look at him as a coach. Like he went through it. He played in the league. He played up. He won 2 or 3 championships. Like he's a good guy to have on your side, and I think we had a really good relationship, and it helped us stay consistent all year. Like I don't think I've ever had a more consistent year, and all my years of hockey. So to do it in professional is definitely it's unreal. It helps me a lot, and I think everybody needs a levy.
yeah,
I think it's such an advantage, and having a guy that's you've had him on the show. Like he's well spoken. He's a great coach, and I think I learned a lot from him this year. So
yeah. That's huge. And like I've skated with him over the summers, like when he was playing too, like and he's so like detail oriented, and like his game is
yeah,
there, and he knows like how to get the best of him, but get the best of his goalies as well. So like that's
for sure.
huge.
Definitely, yeah. And I mean, it's not just me. Like you can see, like I definitely agree with that. He, like all the goalies we had this year, I think we had about 10. Like, he brings the best out. Like Jack had great stats. Tino, he had great stats in his short stint once he came back. Like, we had a lot of guys that, came in, did their job well, and Levy definitely has a way of, guys are coming in from long road trips, whatever, one day rest, like before games, whatever. Like, Levy just works with them, gets them comfortable, and guys just want to do well for him and he as
Yeah.
well. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome to have and everything. So like throughout like this year, like obviously you learn a lot, like your consistency in your game and just building that confidence. Like what are some other big takeaways that you learned this year of just playing in North American League?
Yeah. I mean, this year was the first year I've played more than like 25, 30 games in a season again. Obviously, junior was like that, but every game, like in France and college, every game was like super important. Like, you had to be on your game, and I feel like I learned this year that you kind of have to like get in a routine. You have to have your work cut out for you for the week so that you can be prepared for a 3-3,
Yeah.
physically, mentally. Like, it's not just like you're dialed in for one game. Like, you have 3 games that you potentially are playing in. And this year I had to do maybe 3 or 4 3-3s because of how many injuries we had. And I think I learned a lot about just like taking care of my body, and how to come out of, the second game and be ready for the third physically. Mentally, I think Levy helped a lot with just staying sharp and making my game simpler. I like to, go a little wild sometimes, get a little sporadic, and I think, my windmills. I love my windmills, and but I feel like Levy helped me a lot this year with staying calm, keeping my feet set. I like to get deep in my net, so I was definitely staying out more. I learned just to be comfortable with my speed because I have good speed, and before, just like mentally, you just never think like, I'm like not fast enough until like in a
Yeah.
groove. But like, I do have that speed, and I think just overall, he just helped me like, um, find that consistency with like little things like that. And again, details are huge. I learned so much more about my game, and that helped me going up to the coast, which I got to learn some more from Manny Legacy, which was unbelievable. And he helped me even more with little details like my post play. Like, I'm 27 years old and I'm learning new things about my post play. Like, it's just
Yeah.
never enough learning. And so I think I'm excited, or I was excited this year to like evolve my game to an even bigger level, which I never expected. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like you're open to learning even at 27. Like you learn something new about your game every day, it feels like, and
Yeah.
throughout the course of the season, like that led to your success where you went 23, 3-4 throughout the year with eight shutouts as well, which I believe that's a single season record in Peoria with I think you beat out Levy for that, right?
Yeah. Levy's was 5. But,
Yeah.
he still has the all time,
Yeah.
and he was telling after every shutout, well, you got this many left and whatnot. But no, I think it was, yeah, tied for league record. I think the last guy to do it was in 2013. He played for Fayetteville and Peoria. So,
Yeah, but like
yeah.
everyone knows about your post game shutout cellies. So like what came about the celebration for the net?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I love that swagger part of it, and Askarov. Everybody has to know him by
Yeah.
now. With his celebrations, I stuck to the one. I couldn't do like the bench press one or anything too crazy, but I just really love you know, the little celebration at the end. I never really had anything, so I just like, what? I didn't expect to get 8 of them, obviously, but it was just something that I was like, yeah, it's fun. It kind of pisses off the other team a little bit, so like, I like being the enemy. It makes the game way more fun, and
Yeah.
especially when you can close it in their rink, the fans absolutely hate it. So it was just fun, and I don't know if it's something I'll continue or not, but I think for this year it worked out super well. So yeah.
Yeah, and like I'm sure away, like you said, away games, like the fans are just giving it to you after, and like you just feed off that energy too. Like it's a good feeling when you just have the opposing team's fans just pissed off at you.
Oh, for sure. And it was funny. I did it in Huntsville this year, and I slammed a little, probably too hard. I think they just had redone the ice like a week prior because they had some event there that like screwed up the ice, so they fixed it. And I guess I slammed it pretty good, and the Zamboni driver comes on and he's cursing me out, basically being like, "Oh yeah, you don't give a F, like you don't care about the ice, do you?" Or whatever. I was like, "Not really, sorry, man." Like it was fun. It was so funny, and I definitely heard it from their fans. But when it's a 1 versus 2 game and you shut out the number two, it felt pretty good. So I had to give a little extra oomph.
Yeah, you just gotta give a little boost there.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
awesome. That's awesome. But you also, like you said, you went up to the ECHL this year with the Adirondack Thunder, where you got to be in 9 games. So like, what was it like getting that call up to the coast and playing in Adirondack?
It was awesome. It was truly, an eye opener, but like it was such a like privilege and honored like to get that call because I remember I was kind of in shock a little bit. I obviously at that point of the season I didn't think it was going to happen. I just
Yeah.
was expecting to play my year in the SB. Hopefully continue to dominate. And once I got that call, it was kind of like, oh my god, like it's happening. And I think it really became something like crazy once I had to drive 18 hours to get there because I was like, oh my, because they were like, hey, like you probably want to bring your car, like you're probably going to be out for like a little longer than a month. So they said it would just be easier, and I get on the road and they're like, oh, by the way, like you're playing Sunday and this is Friday. And I was like, oh, all right, yeah, I guess it's going to be right away. So I had no time to really think, and I definitely it was the first time in a long time that I've been nervous, and I think just with how it all happened, I got there and I played well Sunday, which was awesome. They won Saturday. I got to sit on the bench and watch, and unfortunately, they didn't win too many games. So being there for their first win, I believe they were on an 8-game losing streak. For the first win in a while, it was really good vibes, and I was like, all right, this is gonna be fun. And we ended up unfortunately losing 3-2. And then I got put into the game Wednesday, and it just kind of kept coming at me. Like they started me Friday, Saturday. Like I played 4 games that week, and it was like it was not the intro to the ECHL that I was expecting, but
Yeah.
I wasn't complaining. Obviously, I wish I could have won some more games, but it was incredible the whole experience. My goalie partner Tyler Brennan, unreal dude. Like I was with him for a short period of time, but I would say we're like good buddy, like really good buddies, and it's a guy I still reach out to, talk to a little bit, and I think overall like the group of guys are awesome, and I really want to get back to that league next year for sure. So
Yeah. That's awesome and such a good experience just to get put in games like every goalie like you want to start every game, play every game, but like just to
yeah,
get that call up and then you're going playing 4 games in a week like as a guy
yeah.
that came from the SV like that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely in like their captain Skio, she was reminding me that like that's not normal. Like like I was doing he just wanted me to know that I was doing fine, and like I was getting a lot more workload than like a lot of SB goalies would getting called up, and to me like that was super thankful for that opportunity
Yeah.
because I actually got to play, and you know getting to share the net with Brennan was an honor because, he's an unbelievable goalie at 21. He's drafted
Yeah.
to,
Hmm.
New Jersey, everything. Like, he's going to do some great things, and learning from him. And again, like I said, Manny legacy, like, super cool. Even Jeremy Broder reached out to me and said, congrats on my first win and everything. And, it wasn't all smooth. I got pulled twice in a row, which I haven't had happen in a long time, against Trois Rivières, who's still playing. They're an unbelievable team. But then,
Yeah.
getting that game against Wheeling where I made 38 saves and we lost 2-1, but I was finally like, well, okay, I can play in this league. So
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
good. It
That,
was fun. Yeah.
yeah. That's sick. But like you ended up getting your first win in the ECHL. So like what was that feeling like to get that first ECHL win out off your back? And like you said, like be like, I can play in this league.
Yeah. It was a huge weight off my shoulders. Like, we were up 2-1 in that game. We blew the lead to, I think they scored a shorthanded goal, and then they scored, or they scored a power play, then a shorthanded goal to go up 3-2. And I'm like, oh man, like, here we go again, because that's
Yeah.
basically how every single game went. And we tied it up, and I think I had one shot in overtime, thankfully, because I was shaking in my boots. I just wanted to get this win so bad, and but also not go to a shootout, because
Yeah.
there was no way I wanted to be in a shootout at that point. But when we scored, I was just, my body just went straight goosebumps. Like, it was awesome. I had Skiosh, the captain, first guy to come meet me at center ice, like, give me a huge hug. I had 5 or 6 guys there, give me a hug, and it felt so good. I'm glad I at least got one, because, if I would have went up and didn't get any, I think it would have bugged me for a while. And
Yeah.
luckily to get that, and then even just bouncing back from getting pulled twice, it mentally helped me so much. And I think the last 2 games there helped me when I came back to Peoria, because I think once I came back, I had like 3 straight shutouts, and I felt like a different goalie completely. So I just think that time was so, as much as we didn't win, it was so helpful for the rest of my year. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was awesome. But
Yeah. It just builds that confidence up and like you're able to go back down and just be like you're a whole different guy because like you could play on the
yeah,
coast and you're able to
yeah,
just go in and like do the simple things that you were taught with Manny and what Levy has been teaching you to and like just put it all together.
for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but like the year before was your first year of professional hockey where you're in France too with Chambéry. So like what was that year like for you and just getting overseas? Like what was that whole process like and then just getting games going in France?
Yeah, I think it was definitely an interesting process to get there. I wasn't sure if I was actually going to play pro, because I didn't have much like North American interest. So personally, I was like, well, it doesn't look like it's going to work out for me. And then Chambry, Pierre Bergeron, he knew a couple, or a guy that I played with at Marian, and so that's how he kind of found out about me. He reached out, and that whole summer, like, Nico is the GM. Love him to death, but God, it's just pulling teeth to get any information out of him. And like the whole summer, I'm like, is this a scam? Like, am I actually going to a team? Like, I had no idea. And once I got there, I instantly fell in love with it. And obviously, France is, it's a beautiful country. Like, I loved it so much to get to travel around there. And I knew I was coming to a team that they literally told me that I was going to get 40, 50 shots a game. Like, they've never made playoffs before. Like, it wasn't going to be an easy, process year. But in my head, I'm like, you know what? If I can make it in Chambéry, like if I can do well there, then I deserve another year of pro. And that was my mindset going in. And lo and behold, we ended up making it to the semifinals of the French Cup, which is like, for a D1 team, is not possible most of the time. Like we beat Bordeaux, which they ended up going to the finals of the Magnus that year. We beat Gap. We ended up like making it. We lost to a D1 team in the semifinals, which is crazy, but that experience was unbelievable. And then after Christmas, we ended up winning 10 straight games, and we snuck into playoffs. And during that 10-game streak, I just felt like a new goalie, and like in playoffs, and I felt like I did this year. And we ended up making it to the final. We beat the number 3. We were number 7. We beat the number 3, number 2, and we hadn't lost at home all playoffs. Like, it was just the most electric playoff run, and it helped me fall in love with hockey again, truly, because like we had a team full of these 18-year-old kids that just, these French kids that love the game so much. They're the biggest goofballs, and it just made you feel young, and like it was so much fun. And the whole city kind of got behind us. We could only fit like 1,100 people in the rink, but it was probably the loudest rink to this day that I've played in. And it was just, these people didn't really know what was going on half the time. We would like pick up the puck in our zone, and then they would just start going nuts. Like, it was like we were about to score, but we were still in the neutral zone. Like, it was awesome. And I think the whole experience was like a great way to start my pro career. It showed that I could play overseas, and I was supposed to go back this year. I signed with Dunkirk, and then due to personal reasons, I couldn't go. But I think for sure every hockey player, if they get the opportunity to go towards the end of their career or at the beginning, whenever they want to go, like, it's something guys should do, because it's an incredible experience. And to see a new culture and live in it.
Yeah.
It's one thing to visit it for a week, for vacation, but to live in it, it's something else. And I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I've heard is like, just if like, whether it be at the beginning of your career, end of your career, like if you get the opportunity, like you should go. And like, that's one of my goals, like throughout my career, is just to go overseas and just play for a year or two, see how it is over there. And like, just the atmosphere and like the style of hockey seems to be like really, really cool, and like the fan base and everything like that. So like, what was the transition like going from like playing in North America into playing European hockey?
Well, so in France specifically, the game isn't as defensive. It's very run and gun offense. Like, basically, you always have one defenseman jumping into the play, no matter what, which is insane. There's so many 2-on-1s, like breakaways. So for me, Marian, it wasn't like I didn't get that. I got plenty of shots at Marian and plenty of breakaways, whatever. But I just think like the guys that were in the league, they were good. Like, they could finish. I think my first game, we went against Epinal, which they were defending champions the year before. And within, I think, the first 5 minutes, it was 4-0 in my first game over there. Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, like, this is gonna be a brutal. Like, I was like, my career's over. I was like, this is brutal. And by the end of the period, it was 5-0. I went into intermission. My coach brought me in. He's like, just keep your head up. Like, this happens. I'm like, this happens? Like, what do you mean this happens? Like, I
It
was
was four
freaking
nothing
out.
after the first 5 minutes.
Literally, like, how am I still the net, first of all? But he was like, all right, we're going to give you 10 minutes. In the second, if we have no more momentum, we're just going to take you out. We ended up scoring 3 goals in the first 6 minutes of the second period. So they kept me in there. And like, I feel like that's the thing there. Like, obviously hockey is a game of momentum, but like, they really ride the fans there. And like, it didn't matter that we're down 5-0. Fans were going nuts still. Like, we just rode the momentum and put a few back. And like, if you can get these French guys to like believe like they can win, they play unbelievable hockey because I've never seen guys train so hard. Like physically, they can play 5 games in a day. Like they train to play 5 games in a day, and I think that helped me a lot this year too. Training with the goalie coach over there, like he would train me to make like the 4th save. Like he's like, you have to expect that you're going to get rebounds, or you're going to have to make the rebound save because the D man's not going to get it. That's how like it's kind of soft and um, not weak, but it's just defensively, guys aren't as good as they are over
Yeah.
here. And so, yeah, we're doing drills that I'm going to hyperventilate. It feels like I'm just back forth, like 5 shots per drill or per round. And it's a different game, but it's once you adjust to it, it's fun for sure.
Yeah. What do you learn about like yourself with that run and gun gameplay style when you're just, especially when you're facing 2-on-1 and like there's an extra guy on the rush every single time it feels like. So like, what do you learn from that?
I mean, there's nothing like practice, like the more 2-on-1s breakaways you get, the better you get at them
Yeah.
type thing. And I think something I've kind of learned from it is just you have to have depth control. Like your depth control is huge when it comes to obviously breakaways, 2-on-1s. There's a lot of times that we give up that pass backdoor on a 2-on-1. And so if I'm coming out way too far, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
And I felt like I got really good at coming out super aggressive and kind of not scaring the first shooter, but like giving them nothing and then making them seem like they have to pass it, and then our D man could take it over. But like breakaways, you have a lot more control than you think, as long as you don't make the first move. And
That's a hard thing too.
that's the thing. Like if you give them just a little bit, they're going to score. Like these guys are, the pros. Like they can put a puck where they want. A lot of guys have good hands now. Like you have to stay patient on your, edges, your feet. Like you have to be good at that if you want to, keep your team in like these big moments. And I felt like there's moments that like shootouts, I didn't do great. Like we had 2 playoff shootouts, which sucks. It's stupid. But we lost both of them, and I was like, I couldn't stop a beach ball. I'm like, it's so hard, and like that's again where your mentality has to just be like, you have to be solid when you're playing pro, and like if you get down on yourself, you're screwed. So you can't get in your head ever, unfortunately. So because it's pro hockey is a cutthroat business, and I think overseas it's a little easier because it doesn't matter how bad you're doing unless you're like in a top league maybe, but they kept me the whole year, believed in me type thing. But it's your mentality has to be rock solid when you get to pro. So
Yeah. And it just helps with your confidence and everything because like when you're like I'm strong, like I'm doing good, like your confidence obviously goes up, but like when you're like down on yourself and like that's when like your game, like you said, goes downhill, and it's hard to come out when you have that mindset.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, again, I think that helped me a lot be able to stop a lot of these 2-on-1s breakaways too. Because like when you're feeling yourself, like these saves seem like routine saves,
Yeah.
and I feel like when I was rolling, I was making a lot of breakaway saves, and it just was like, yeah, I'm going to make this next one. Like in my head, I was like, it doesn't matter what this guy does, I'm stopping this next puck. And, that has to be your mindset on it, like all the time, which is not as easy to, it's easier to say or easier said than done, but it's just, I think it's important, and there's a lot more like mentorship help out there that I feel like is becoming a huge part of the game. Like mentally, if you have a strong mental game, then you've won basically 85% of the position. It's
Yeah, exactly.
it's maybe it's 90%. I don't know, something like that. But
you have to have some type of swagger with you when you're playing. You have to have some type of swagger to help you keep going strong.
for sure. And I mean, it's not only for yourself. I think it definitely, if you aren't, like, if you're not playing great, but you still keep that swagger, like, your teammates think you're
Feed off it.
still,
Yeah.
they feed off it and they think you're still confident and whatnot. Like, you gave up a couple bad goals, whatever. If you still show that you're, like, in the game, like, as soon as you show bad body language, like, your team suffers the most.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, well, that's it for that game. So
Yeah.
no, yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, exactly. But you got 2 years under your belt of pro so far, and like before your pro career started, you played 4 years of NCAA Division III hockey with Marian University. So like, what was your time like at Marian and just committing there, and then getting your way started in Marian?
Yeah, it was good. I think my first 2 years we had a really good team. My second year, we ended up winning the conference championship. Unfortunately, it was one of those COVID years, so we didn't get to go to the national tournament. But yeah, no, it was the first time that it was like I've made like a playoff push where made it far. We won. I ended up getting playoff MVP, and that was the first time I had a real taste of like playoff hockey. Obviously, midget, whatnot, like all of those tournaments, like in minor hockey, like all that,
Yeah,
like it's similar, but like at the level that you're playing, like college hockey, when you win a championship or whatever, like you're like, all right, this is playoff hockey. And I was super thankful to get that experience and win in college. Like, you're with these guys for 4 years, like it's super cool to win a championship with them. And like, we had 11 guys transfer out after that year, which is not normal. And like, we probably could have had a solid team again the next year, but we basically started from zero. And we still had a good group, but the following 2 years were pretty rough. Like, I think we just snuck into playoffs both years. We did get a new coach my senior year, Clay, which brought some new life, and like, we ended up having another one of those 10-game winning streak. Second, or maybe it wasn't 10, but like, we won a lot of games second half, which was super cool. And yeah, I mean, obviously D3 wasn't what I was hoping for when I picked the school route. When I played in Bonneville, the AJ, they commit at least 3 or 4 goalies to Division One, and I had a really good year, hoping that I could go Division One. Didn't obviously work out, and then I talked to Saint FX, which is in Nova Scotia, and I was like, there it is, that's perfect. Like, CIS, not what I was expecting, because I obviously wanted to go NCAA, but I was like, yeah, like, I'll go there. It's close to home. Haven't been close to home in years. So I was like, all right, this is going to work out. Their coach goes on like a 2-week vacation, uh, comes back. I'm like, all right, I'm ready to commit. And he's like, we're actually going to go with the 5-year OHL London Knights goalie. I was like, okay, all right. Well, I can't really, my resume doesn't look anywhere near that. So I guess we're not going there. And then, Marian, they messaged me like twice a week, like, kept in touch. I didn't know anything really about D3. Um, Unfortunately, because my mindset was like, I'm going D1, like,
yeah,
everybody, like, I just wasn't hoping for D3. And then when it came down to like, all right, I got to pick one, Marian just, they were calling me every week. So, and I actually did tour Marian. I drove home from Alberta to Nova Scotia, which was like a 55-hour drive. And
oh,
yeah, so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to plan my stops. And Marian was one of those stops. And, yeah, I'm glad I went there. I met my girlfriend there, and had a lot of good memories, a lot of good buddies. So it was fun. It was a good
Yeah.
spot.
Yeah, and like that's always huge. Like even when things don't go your way with like going Division 1, like a team, university like Marian like keeps in touch with you like multiple times a week. Like you feel wanted, and you're like
Yeah,
might as well give this a shot. And
for sure.
thankfully you did.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, you know, I could say in my head, like, there's other schools I might have wanted to go to, but like in the end, like, I'm thankful for my time there, and I met a lot of good people. Hunter Vorva, I I don't know if you know him, but I got
Yeah, he
to
plays
meet his
in
goalie partner.
Kalamazoo, I believe, right?
Yeah, he's in
Yeah.
Kalamazoo. Almost got to play against him this year. I was on the bench, which was just super funny to watch. Like, good to see him again, watch him play. And we went for dinner before the night before our game, and yeah, he's an awesome dude, great goalie. But another example of just Marion was producing great goalies. I mean, he's been a
Yeah.
stud in the coast, and so I think I that was a huge reason why I went to Marion too, was because he was the All American goalie. Like, showed that you can do super well even on a
Yeah.
team that you know doesn't historically do great. So I'm glad I could be by his side for that first year. He helped me a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. And another goalie that went from a super good year in the SB, and now he's a super
Yeah,
putting up super good numbers in the coast. Like this is another
yeah.
example of that.
I know. Vorva, it's funny because he obviously, yeah, we're goalie partners my first year, my freshman year, and then he ended up going to France. So he played France too. He won a championship there. Comes back, plays in the SB, wins goalie of the year, and then now he's East Coast, whatnot. And when I got out, I went France too. We nearly won the championship. I was gonna say that would have been hilarious, me and him. And then I come back, SB goalie of the year, same as him. And I just basically told him, like, I'm just trying to be you, man. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, it's just fate, I guess. But no, it's funny. Love that guy. He he's unbelievable goalie. Like, I still say to this day, like, if there's one guy that's gonna make it, it's gonna be him because he just loves the position so much. And unbelievable guy, unbelievable goalie. Like, he works his bag off. So I'm rooting for him always.
Yeah. That's so funny. That's so funny how he went France, you went France, and then he went SB, won goalie of the year, you won SB, won goalie of the year, and now like you got your chance in the coast, and hopefully next season you spend your full time in the coast, and he's in the
Yeah,
coast now. Like
yeah,
it's a funny story how that goes sometimes.
for sure. Yeah, I know. It's just following in his footsteps. Oh my God, it's English. It's tough.
Yeah, I know, right? It is tough, but but yeah, like you go throughout like those 4 years at Marion, like you're with him like your first year. So like, what do you learn from him from that first year that you really brought into yourself through the rest of college, and like also other things that you learned throughout those 4 years of college?
Yeah, I mean, I think from Vors, I really took his mentality or learned the most about his mentality. Nothing phased that guy. Um, I think how much he loved the game and put into it. I definitely took that from him as well. I think this guy, he'd go to the rink at like 8 p.m. just to fidget with his gear, stretch. Like, he was always thinking hockey, and I respect that so much. He's a goalie through and through, and it's a level that he deserves to be somewhere great because of how
Yeah,
hard he works. But I think just for me, like, I mean, all 4 years, it wasn't like I took his mindset right away. I was a bit of a hothead still. You know, love to throw my stick at the post a few times, stuff like that.
we've
But
all been there.
yeah, it's just I found myself frustrated a lot, and I
Yeah.
just think that that's one thing I tried to be more in tune with was, being calm, cool, calm, collective. And I think I found that when I went to France. And I think ever since, obviously you have a blow up here and there, but it's not nearly as bad. And I think mentally, Vorv's helped me a lot. When I was in France, he was doing film with me even, or no, he was in France. He was doing film with me. Like he's helped me a lot. But I think his mentality, he was having fun. I found that when he was having fun, he was playing his best, and he doesn't take the game too seriously. And I feel like that's something I needed to put into my game. And once I started having fun and just being like, well, it's just a game, like another game. I found like bad goals going in, and I wasn't phased. Like I was bouncing back and making the next save could be a breakaway, and I was making that save. And it's just, I think that helps me a ton. And I think everybody can do the little extra things, obviously, but not everybody's willing to. So I
Yeah.
think like he was, and I'm still trying to be like that. It's obviously hard to like push yourself when you don't have anybody around, but like if you can, you're going to be successful. And I think I learned that from him, and from a lot of other goalies. Like, it's guys that are successful. It's for a reason, like they do the extra stuff. And I think my 4 years at Marian, I definitely needed to implement that because, again, my junior year, senior year, we weren't great. And, like a lot of pressure was put on me to be there to keep us in games. And, I think the pressure was something that I had to, live with and
Yeah.
enjoy, and I think I always have. It's just, again, the mental part of it, you have to like actually enjoy what you're doing, or you're just wasting your time.
Yeah.
Like you gotta. I remember there was one point we lost like, I don't know, like 5 games in a row, and I texted Vorbs and I was like, man, like this is brutal. But he went through the same thing. Like the season he won All American, I'm pretty sure he um, was getting 45 plus shots a game, and like he was keeping them in it, and like he had like a 1.8 goals against average, and he was getting shelled like
Yeah.
it was insane. And he just told me like, you got to just enjoy it. Like you just can't get in your head. It's, if you're not enjoying getting all these shots, like, it's not a position for you. So it's, as brutal as it sounds, it's like, yeah, I mean, you just have to enjoy getting pelted sometimes. Like the position's weird. And unfortunately, if the goalie in the crease is weird too. So
Yeah.
you gotta just take that and run with it, I guess. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's what I learned kind of in my 4 years. Just don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah. Because like you just gotta embrace everything from the good, the bad, like the mediocre. Like I didn't play juniors or college, and like my first competitive year before getting to the Fed was senior hockey in Michigan, and I was on the worst team possible, and I was facing 70 shots a night. Like it's
Yeah,
just like you just get thrown in the fire, and you just gotta be like, I know I'm gonna get shelled tonight, but like just go out there, have fun. Like I feel like getting shelled, like you're more into the game and you're able to
yeah,
settle in a lot more than a lot easier than if you're facing maybe a shot every 5, 6 minutes, like because you're
yeah.
facing everything right away, so you're able to just get in the groove and feel the puck right away.
100%. Yeah, 100%. And I found this year was the first year that in Peoria, like I got under 20 shots consistently in
Yeah,
games. And it's funny, out of the 3 regulation losses that I had, one game I had 13 shots, one game I had 18 shots, and the other one I think I had 19 shots. Like it's a whole mental battle when
It
you're
is.
not getting a lot of shots because you're cold. You have to figure out ways to stay in the game. Like it's not as easy as people think
No.
when you're getting no shots. Like I mean, I would much rather a lot of shots. Like my best game in the coast was against Wheeling, and I had 38 shots, and I was dialed because I was getting pelted. Like it was perfect.
You
Like I'm
you
like,
have to
this
be
is
ready
what I
at all
want.
times.
Exactly. But like other games, like the one game I got pulled, like I think I got pulled on 13. I gave up 3 on 13, and like I think it was halfway through the second. Like I didn't have a huge volume, but like when they got their chances, I wasn't ready. And
Yeah.
it's a mental battle, and it's hard because I know a lot of people like to judge people like goalies on good teams because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, they have it easy. Like it's a way easier game for them. They just have to make a save every like 5 minutes, But it's really not that. It makes it way harder. Like I don't know. I think that's a part of goaltending that I think people are starting to figure out because like the game's getting so much more skilled and guys are like picking and choosing their shots better.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not, obviously there's still teams that just walk over the blue line, try to rip it past you for some reason. But I feel like it's, who was it? There's a goalie, his videos are on Instagram. He played D3 and then ended up playing AJHL and whatnot. Big, tall guy.
Dylan Kelly.
DK.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, DK. Yeah. He had an interview and he's just like, he went to the A played in the A and he was expecting to get pelted. And he's like, yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it.
Yeah,
And
because they're thinking
then
that he's an SP goalie, so he's like, just throw everything on me.
yeah, exactly. So like, that was a little bit my mindset going to the coast too. Like I was like, all right, that's what's going to happen. And it wasn't. I mean, I was getting still 25 shots, but like they were high quality shots. Like it wasn't like they were just shooting it from the corner or like, even if they're shooting from the point, like I found the guys on the coast, like every guy knows how to tip it. Like they can tip
Yeah.
it and put it where they want. And I think I gave up like 5 tip goals, 6 tip goals. Like it sucked.
Yeah.
but it was good. A lot more skill. So
Yeah. And just like you learn so much just from being like from doing that and then just learning from those experiences and like the mental mindset of things as well. Like I'm sure like junior hockey is a big toll, like mentally, I'm sure,
yeah.
on a lot of people. It's like, what was your junior hockey experience? Like you played in a couple different leagues throughout your junior career, so like what was your junior career like?
It was good. I mean, it definitely is a mental toll because I mean, for me, I only played 2 years of junior hockey, and it was the 2 years that I had no school, like nothing. So it was basically I graduated from Upper Canada College, which highly like academic, like I was doing homework till like 5 a.m. a lot of nights, and so it was like you had to balance hockey and school. Obviously, that wasn't a great balance if you're staying up till
Yeah.
5, but like you had to grind with
Got to
those
figure
two.
it
And
out and
then
grind it out.
yeah, exactly, just get it done. But I think with junior hockey, it's like you're hyper focused on hockey, and that's not always the best thing because that's when you get in these little like rabbit holes of like,
Yeah.
yeah, I had a bad game, and it's hard to bounce back because I'm so hyper focused. Like, what do I need to do? Like, you're trying to like figure it out in practice why, and then you have a bad practice, and then it's like all you're thinking about. So I feel like junior hockey it's a time to find that mentality before college because you have so much time to focus on hockey. But it's like you obviously need to work on your game, but the mental part of this, you need to find that in junior. And I feel like my 2 years, like my first year, um, going into junior hockey, I think I had like 30 teams that I'd like called. Like I had a lot of options, and it spanned across like Canada. I tried out for probably 5 teams. I think I flew to Brooks Bandits camp. They liked me, but their goalie decommitted from D1, came back. So nope, not going there. And then I tried out for Wenatchee Wild in the BCHL. Flew from Halifax, slept in the Calgary airport, got to Wenatchee or got to Seattle, waited in the airport all day, and then drove to Wenatchee, got there like 8 p.m., had practice 6 a.m. with like a 5-hour time change. Had the worst camp of my life. It was so bad. I got cut from there. I was devastated. And then the Lumberjacks or Lumber Kings, and the CC called me. I'm like, hey, like, all right, I want to go there. They're like, well, you have to come to tryouts, which was the following weekend. And my dad just paid for 2 flights that were $1,000. I'm like, I can't come. They're like, well, you're not on the team. I was like, all right, well. And then, just long story short, I ended up in North York in the OJ, which I'm super thankful for. Rob Gearson, he was drafted to I think New York Rangers or Washington Capitals. I'm pretty sure he was drafted to Capitals. And he helped me at Upper Canada College. And then he basically was like, hey, come to North York. Like, we have Jed Alexander was there. He's like, we have this good young goalie. I didn't know he was the stud. I just thought like 6'5", goalie, like he's good. I get there, he's like on the NHL draft prospects list, all this. So I'm like, oh my God, well, here we go. I'll get a battle for the third spot. And I ended up winning goalie of the year that year. And after that, I went to Alberta, played like 45 games there, get runner up for goalie of the year there. And, both my years, I grew so much in junior, and I enjoyed them so much. Like, it was a lot of fun, and I did super well. And that's why I didn't think, I didn't think I would be going D3, but it is what it is, and again, like with a lot of things, it's not a failure. Like, I still made college hockey. Like, I still, found my way to pro. Like, you can't always let things that you think need to happen to define your career. Like, if they don't, it doesn't matter. It's just a different route. Like, you could still succeed and make it to where you need to go or want to go. You just have to, work your bag off and believe that you can do it. So.
Yeah, exactly. And like, no one path is the same. Like, everyone has their own path, and it just proves like more and more that like guys are going this route and then go play pro and stuff, or like college or whatever. And like another guy has a complete opposite path. Like, it just depends on the person, and just like how much you like work your bag off as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to that. Like, if you're willing to put in the extra work, and not only put in the work, but like enjoy that process of doing it. If you don't, again, I said it earlier, like, you're just wasting your time. It's, if you're not 100% into it and you don't love just, the off season grind, in season grind, whatever, like, maybe you're meant for 9 to 5. I don't know. Like, you just got to find what you love, and you'll succeed at it. So.
Yeah, you just got to embrace every situation that comes with your way. Like you said, off season grind, in season grind. Like, you face adversity, like, just do whatever you can to overcome it. Like, you get cut from a team, like, doesn't mean you can't play. It just means that team's not a good fit for you. So just go somewhere else and try out, and you never know what could happen from there.
100%. Yeah, I mean, anything's possible. As cliche as it is, it's just unfortunately, there is a timer. But anything's possible. So.
Yeah, anything is possible. But before we wrap this episode up, I have a few more questions for you. So, like, do you have any tips for goalies looking to get to that next level? Like, besides like what we've talked about already, like any new like tips or advice that you give players looking to get to jump to that next level, wherever that may be.
Um, I think just like something that's really helped me throughout the years, and I think it'll never go out of style, is just being coachable.
Yeah,
I think coaches really love a guy that's coachable. It doesn't matter if they think you're good enough or not. Like if you're coachable, they can turn you into something that they want, or they
yeah,
can help you in a way that, you know, can get you to that next level. And I think if you are a sponge and take in what they're saying, you don't have to use it. Just take in what they're saying, like in the moment, like try it out. But like being stubborn and not listening to coaches is going to get you nowhere. And I think that, along with being a good teammate and being, again, good at taking criticism from teammates, and just if you're not the starter, being like a good goalie part, like just all like being a good person. We just
yeah,
need to be a good person and a good learner, and that's going to get you a lot further in your career than you may think,
yeah,
because it's not specific to the position. I think it's, in life. Like if you are open to learning or open to criticism, I think you're going to do a lot better in all situations. And again, you're going to learn a ton. And I feel like now it's a little like, I think the like generation's changing a bit. Obviously, like it's like virtual, like everything with like social media and whatnots. It's a little, I feel like, tougher. Like everybody feels a little more entitled for some reason, but like I get like there's a ton of videos online and whatever, but like that doesn't mean that in person, just because you watch it online, like everything. So it's
yeah.
like, just take in everything you can and use the resources that you have. Like every team, that doesn't matter where you play, if they have good resources or bad resources, just use them.
Yeah.
Like try to network with like coaches, like teammates, like get everybody you can in your group. That not everybody, obviously, bad influences, whatever. Stay away
All
from
the
that. But like
good influences. Yeah,
all the good influences, you want to network with that, because I mean, even for me, like that's helped me. Like, I know a few coaches that now it might help me for my next year or whatnot.
yeah.
So you just, you know, be a good person, and life will be good back to you at some point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly. And like that's like the biggest things I've learned in my career so far is if you're willing to get work and get better every day, show up with a positive attitude and be a good
yeah,
teammate where the boys love you and you get along with everyone, like you're gonna find more opportunities than guys that aren't willing to do that and just
for
go in
sure.
with a different attitude. So like being a good person is huge in this world.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think it's coaches see that. Like if you're not to a level that they may think like you need, like that you think you need to be, they'll still see like the like advantages of having you on a team.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like Jungi Trudell, my coach this year, he's said a lot. Like if you're not feeling your best that day, you can still do something to help out a
Yeah.
teammate in practice. Doesn't matter if like your legs aren't working, like, use your voice, like,
Yeah.
or if your legs are working, your brain's not, like, skate hard. Like there's always something you can do to help the people around you. And then even the people around you, if they see you're not 100%, they can push you up.
Yeah. Goes
It's
both
just
ways.
exactly. And it's just how teams will be successful and how you can find your way sneaking on a roster compared to not. So,
Yeah.
or sneaking into whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But my last question for you is like I asked all my goalies this, like what's your favorite post practice game? Like there's rebound, three puck, just a straight up breakaways. Like what's your go-to?
Oh, yeah. I used to be a big rebound guy. I liked rebound until every team now seems different. They either have guys that hold on to the puck for 15 seconds, or the
Different
rules
rules.
change,
Yeah.
different rules. So I think one that stays pretty consistent is two puck,
Yeah.
two puck. So take a shot, take a breakaway. So I think that one. I think that's my go-to. If unfortunately, if I can avoid them, if I have a good practice, I like to avoid those drills because then sometimes I'll get in my head just because it doesn't always go great for me. But
Yeah.
if but when it does, I just leave full of confidence. But no, I'd say Tupac for sure. Rebound used to be, but Tupac for sure.
Yeah. Mine is definitely rebound. Like every day as soon as the coach blows the whistle to end practice, boys like Jack rebound. I was like, all right, I guess that's what we're
I'm
doing right
there.
now. I'm there.
Yeah, I'm there. Yeah. No, I did used to really like it when I was younger, but it's gotten to a different level that I can't stay in. So yeah.
It definitely has team to team changes for sure.
Oh, for sure. But I'm 2-0 in my rebound coach career, just to put that out there. So
There you
yeah.
go. Huge flex right there.
Yeah, a little weird brag, but hey, I'll take it.
Yeah, that's awesome. But Muser, thank you again for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time, and I want to wish you the best of luck going forward in your career.
Thank you, Jack. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, and same to you, man. Looking
Yeah.
forward to more.
Oh yeah, there you go.